Hello, hello. Welcome to Listen to Daddy. So it has been a minute, but the daddies are back. And as always, woohoo! I'm Daddy Rod.
And I'm Daddy Rob.
And in case you're wondering why we are topless, or possibly not wearing anything at all, we are actually celebrating a birthday. And the birthday for this episode happens to be Daddy Rob. It's his birthday. And I'll let you, and Rob, you know what? I've got a lot I could say, but it's your day, it's your episode. So why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, and as I say, I think our birthday should be considered the most important holiday of the year, because if it wasn't for our birthday, we wouldn't be able to enjoy anything that we have in our lives. And I think it's a good idea at the end of every year. What I like to do is reflect on the year before. So, and honestly, since I turned 50, it's kind of an interesting exercise to do that, because part of that is recognizing my mortality. And I have a short period of time on this planet, and I want to make the most of it that I can. So this past year, I have been attempting to practice self-care by kind of diving into some crafty stuff. So I'm going to share some of the things I've been working on this year. This is something that I made for my husband for our anniversary. Crocheted that. I've been teaching myself how to crochet. My grandmother taught me when I was a kid, and and then I realized she didn't teach me right. So I've been reteaching myself this past year, made myself a shirt. But I love this guy because he's just so cute. And
he is. Although, Rob, I will, first of all, the hat and the scarf are darling. But secondly, you have entered the old lady phase. You actually have.
Proudly.
Proudly, he said. Yes.
Yeah, if only more daddies were able to do stuff like this, then children would appreciate them more, I think. But what's interesting, the cheeks on this are actual blush. And it's the little pink cheeks is just blush applied to.
As in makeup?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You're not just crafty. Now you're in crafts.
So the years. So the shades match. Anyway.
Oh.
And then lately I've been and then somebody introduced me to, remember Shrinky Dinks?
Oh my God. Don't age us. Shrinky Dinks. I haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah, somebody keyed me into the paper that they use to make Shrinky Dinks with. So I don't know if you can see here.
Kaiser!
Yeah, I was actually inspired by my husband. His miniature schnauzer is just the cutest little dog. But I want to wait until I can make something better. But this was my first attempt at that. And then
so in case folks don't know, is that you and your husband have an adorable schnauzer named Kaiser. Yeah. So if they ever hear me talk about Kai or Kai, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah. He is, folks, he is adorable.
And you know,
that's my little, I mean, yeah, those two, Rob and his husband, they're my friends, but the real one is the dog. He's everything.
When I die, I want to come back as a gay man's dog, because I will have the best life ever. And then we're working with residents.
Rivaled only by a gay man's cat.
Yeah. And then I've been working with resin and learning how to make the stuff out of that. In fact, I was big into D&D growing up, so I made dice.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
And this thing, I don't know if you can see it inside here, but I'm trying to make something with poppers bottles, so we'll see how that goes. But making a mold of them so I can use that in our project. Yeah, I know, I'm that guy.
You're such a homo.
I know.
I was going to use another word, but FCC rules.
So 55 for me has a lot to do with craftiness, but I thought I would introduce one of the things that I made as kind of like the topic to talk about, because this has to do with me specifically. I wanted something that would kind of explore the different aspects of myself, and I thought a great way to do that would be with those Russian nesting dolls. So I made a nesting doll of myself, and what's included in that is inside are different identities that I hold that all make me who I am. Okay. I know that's a little shiny, but it's
Well, your head is a little shiny actually in real life right now. So It's apropos.
Yeah, anytime I take a shower, I'm sweating for the next hour. But
we talked about this. You were supposed to say you're glowing. It's
yeah,
a glow.
I'm misting like a pig.
Right. Must I tell you everything?
So let me talk you through this, and if you, this is an excellent opportunity for you and the audience to learn a little bit more about me. But this is the outer shell is the one that I'm in, that identity I'm in most of the time, and this is my. I'll turn it around. It says Daddy. So and included in that are my little pride shorts. You can see a little ring around the bottom of.
And you know what's so funny, Rob? I've got shorts just like that.
Because you're a big gay man.
Right.
You can see in the back I gave myself a butt.
Big old butt.
Yeah. Aspirations. So and then and I'm holding my cocktail because that's my drink of choice.
And let the folks know what your favorite cocktail is. I know it is.
It's a Dirty Bloody Mary Martini, or Dirty Bloody Martini. So it's a martini, but added just a splash of
olive juice,
spicy tomato juice, and olive juice.
Yeah. Okay. So anyone who's watching this, if you ever run into Rob and you want to buy him a drink, you know what to get him.
With 3 olives.
I
learned this the hard way because when I first started drinking, I would order a drink. Back when I was drinking White Russians, and they would not hear me and instead make some, I don't know what the hell they were making, but it was never, I think they added Coke to it or something. So somebody recommended when you're ordering a drink to order an extra garnish. So that way you know that whether or not they're paying attention to you. So I used to drink a 2 olive martini. So then I started asking for 3 olives. And that way I know that if they come with the 3 olives, I know they paid attention. So I've just kind of stuck with that. Now I'm a 3 olive drinker.
Okay.
So a little word of knowledge for a word of wisdom for people who are drinkers. For those of you who are not drinkers, I'd just ask for an extra ice cube. But that's my outer shell.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Where are the 3 olives in the drink for your outer shell?
Yeah, I actually made the glass too small, or the olive too big. I proportions I wasn't thinking, and so
between the lack of proportions and the lack of olives, are you really homo though? Are you really gay?
Yeah, you can see that the martini glass is not completely full, so I may have eaten 2 of them already. That may have been what occurred. I'm partway through my burgers.
Oh, so wait a minute. Your olives empty with the pimento, with garlic, or with blue cheese?
Well, in the drawing, it's with the pimento because it's easier to see the red. But I am an garlic stuffed olive fan.
Okay.
Although I did get into jalapeno stuffed olives because it was hard to find garlic. But that's my jam. So if you're going to order me a drink, garlic stuffed olives and a martini, very bloody martini.
That's very important to know.
I started drinking those when I lived in Iowa, during my Mr. Iowa leather year, because we went out for drinks with a friend, and that's what he had. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds good," because I love Bloody Marys. Worked out.
Go.
So when we go out of that level, we're now into. Now let me see if you can guess what this is.
The professional. Because that looks like you're holding coffee and you're holding a pen. It's a blue shirt, blue and black slacks, which is so very gay professional. Well, that's not coffee. That's a pad.
Yeah, that's therapist rub.
Yes. So, first of all, do you always wear a blue shirt with a white collar? Do you actually? No. Okay.
But I am the only therapist, because I work for the county, and I'm the only therapist there who routinely dresses like in a dress shirt, dress slacks. And when I first started working for the county, my supervisor said, "You might," because I came out of the tech sector doing data analytics as an assistant VP at a major bank, and so I always dressed very conservatively for that. But when I started with the county, I dressed similarly, except I didn't wear a tie. And my supervisor said, you might want to dress a little more casually because, you want to be comfortable. You want the clients to know you're comfortable. And I was like, no, this is this is me being comfortable. I'm one of those people who, when I dress in the morning, I dress for the day. That, you know, if I want to project something of myself, this is the costume for it. It's like I'm a theater geek, so you know, I want to be dressed for the role, and so this is my going to work and being comfortable at work role. If I was wearing something like I don't know, a t-shirt, I just wouldn't feel as confident in my skin doing the work that I do. So it's just kind of like taking on a persona in order to do the work and then take it off when I get home.
So I'm going to save this question for the therapist nest egg. I want to go back to daddy. I don't know. Well, it's been a while since you and I actually talked about what that means to us. Why put daddy on the back? And what does daddy mean to you?
Oh, why I put daddy on the back of him?
Yeah.
I think because I had a t-shirt at one point that said daddy on it, but I like that persona is the one that I feel confident in my skin in, because I think that there's a lot of social capital that people get for just popping out kids. You know, for men, for getting a woman pregnant and then having a kid, that there's a lot that's tied up in that. And I do not desire to have that experience, but I connected with things like being a mentor, being an elder in the leather community, being somebody who holds myself to a certain ideal as a motivation for others. You know, the work, there's the same, I've talked to my clients about this, the same procreative urge that gets people to have children is, in other people, is channeled into creating things like crafts or organizations, spreadsheets, you know, things that you create. It's a creative urge. So I am a creator on a lot of levels and appreciate my creator. So that's daddy for me. There's a lot of stuff in that word that, and our podcast, I'm very, I'm thrilled to be partnered with you as a fellow daddy. So it's paying homage to that whole part of myself.
And I noticed that is the outer shell, your daddy persona, and therefore the biggest.
Yep.
Would you say that's the biggest, dare I say, persona? Is that the biggest part of you?
Yeah, yeah. And
in terms of your personas.
Yeah, I also made a point to, because I think this is the only layer where I have the wedding ring on. And so that's part of it as well, the dynamic of being in relationship with another person, because daddy can't be daddy all by himself. Daddy needs to be daddy in relation to something or somebody else.
Interesting.
Can't be daddy in a vacuum.
Because right now I'm sitting here by myself and I'm thinking to myself, but I'm still a daddy.
Yes, but you're very much a daddy right now in addressing the children who are watching and sitting in union with another daddy talking about daddy things. You may think of yourself as a daddy when you're all by yourself, but your daddy role really comes into play when you're interacting with others or interacting with something in that daddy role. It's
interesting.
Not in my opinion, but yeah. I think I'm all these things even when I'm not actively doing them. They're just they're just sitting there waiting to be tapped into.
Okay. And so I want to go into the therapist mode. So I was kind of challenged when you talked about not feeling as comfortable in a t-shirt as opposed to a dress shirt. If you're, and I'm thinking your therapist is not just your skills, but it's part and parcel of who you are. Wouldn't you be a therapist no matter what you wear, whether it's a button-down shirt or a t-shirt?
Yeah, I think the challenge for me as a therapist is keeping in mind I am not my client's friend. I am a professional who's in the room, who's working for the client. And I think that kind of helps to keep me in that mindset as well. It's like, I'm not here just to kick back, be comfortable, and have a conversation. I'm here for a very specific purpose, and that's to help somebody achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So I need to be in that work mindset, and being in this outfit kind of helps put me there.
Got it. I love it. Okay. All right. Let me learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, there you go.
I've known you since 2017, if not before. But no, 2015. Not before that. Yeah.
Time flies. 10 years. Jeez. 10 years. We look so young.
I thank you. Well, we'll save that for my birthday.
All right, oh, this one's mine.
I'm trying to make it out. It looks like you wearing kind of, I can't make out the blue thing. Wait a minute. See, this is where, again, being older, see, you're being honest. You got your glasses on. And I'm trying to look for mine right now because I'm like, what the hell is that blue and yellow
It's supposed to
thing?
be the HRC logo, the equality sign.
Oh, so this is you being a radical homo.
There you go. This is
Okay,
my activist persona.
got it.
And this is based on a picture I had taken of myself some time ago, right around my ACT UP days period. And I didn't have the logo on it, but the shirt that I had, the tank top, and had this expression on my face, this grrr. It's kind of like don't mess with me. And this was about me taking my power back as a gay man. The whole activism thing of feeling powerless in the late '80s, early '90s with the rising HIV pandemic, and then seeing my partner die, and all I'm hearing from the government is he had it coming, and and religious officials and all that, just saying that it was payback for sin, and feeling really helpless and unsupported. And then one day I was like, well, screw that. This was through therapy, by the way. We're kind of getting to the point of I need to feel where my power is because I can make a change. I'm not weak and helpless.
So before you go on, because I think it's very interesting that the activist is literally inside of your therapist. So two things. How much do you see your work as a therapist as activism? Why don't we start there? Because I do have another question. But let's start with that one. Therapy is activism.
But when I finally decided to 100%, I was going to go back to school for psychology and to be a therapist, was right around the time that Trump had won his first election. And I was feeling kind of weak and powerless. And it was like, I couldn't go back to the energy I had when I was doing the activism in my 20s. I mean, and I couldn't do I didn't have the energy to do the marching anymore, and the sit-ins and the kiss-ins and the die-ins, all the stuff that I did at that point. And as I got older, I recognized that the visibility is great, and there are young people out there who can be more visible more of the time than I can. What can I do? And my thing was I can do better on one-on-one interactions. It's about empowering other people to push back so that they can reclaim their lives. And if I can do that little bits, that needle of justice that seems to be, many times going the wrong way, it edges it back the other way just a little bit. And if I can do just that, then that's the activist part of the work, is getting people to say, take back their power.
Right. And how does it feel looking at the activist doll of a picture of you taken years ago to be in the times that we are now, where, as you were describing what was going on, and I remember those days from my own activism, to be right now in a time that really does echo where you were. How many years ago was that? 20 or?
Oh God, probably 30, close to 30, 25 to 30 years.
Right. So yeah, we're talking 25 to 30 years ago to basically to be right back in that time. I mean, what are you thinking as you look at that doll, your activist doll, and knowing where we are right now? What kind of thoughts go through your head?
I'm seeing a lot of similarities, but on the positive side, I look at the whole arc of history, and that there has been movement towards inequality. I mean, it's always struggle when it comes to the minutia of it. Big things and little things can happen that pull our focus and make us think we've lost so much ground. But in the grand scheme of things, we have more than we had. But it also reminds me not to get too comfortable, not to say, oh, that fight is over, moving on. And I know that there are a lot of people, like after we got marriage equality, who are like saying, okay, now we're equal. And even straight people were thinking that was the case. It's like, no, we're not. We've been appeased.
And it's funny because as much as I was very happy when gay marriage was achieved. Marriage equality. Because from what I understand about marriage, whether it's two men, two women, a heterosexual couple, the dynamics of marriage are the same. So I don't like saying gay marriage, like it's different. But I do like marriage equality. Yeah, but I remember when marriage equality was achieved, I thought, this is great. This is wonderful. This ain't it. In other words, we can't just go home now. And it was very interesting. And I'll be honest, a lot of white activists were saying, we won. And a lot of people of color who were activists are like, are you kidding me? This is just the first step. Wait, we're all far from done. Get back here.
Yeah. I remember some white person during the Obama administration was like, yeah, haven't we achieved racial equality since we have a black president? It's like, girl.
Right.
Girl.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all you get, girl.
Yep.
Yeah. And the fact that, like the black gay vernacular, you say it to a black gay man and it's just like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Girl.
Yeah. So, and try talking to some Hispanics right now about their place in this country. Because when we're filming this, there's this during the second Trump administration where there's ICE crackdown on undocumented in the U.S. and they're like hurting people out there. A lot of people afraid in our area. I've had a client who's, we spent a whole session because she's worried about her husband who's a permanent resident. But she's concerned that ICE is going to pick him up and hold him somewhere, and she's not going to be able to find him. So it's a scary world to not be part of that power level at the top.
And let's also be clear: this is not an immigration crackdown. It's a purge of black and brown people.
Yep.
Primarily, it's a purge.
Legalized racism.
And I remember seeing something on Instagram, and the man just hit the nail on the head. We don't see ICE raids in Brighton Beach, in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Where a lot of Russian, and may I add, white Russian immigrants come. He also added that we don't see these ICE raids in Boston, where Irish immigrants still come. We see these in black and brown neighborhoods. So
yep.
I'm real clear. This is a purge. It's an ethnic cleansing of sorts. So yeah, let's call a thing, and also to recognize that to be rounded up by, I don't need to say ICE agents, because half of these folks are plainclothes with masks. I'm like, are you secret police? Are you the modern day Gestapo? What is what is this? And people are rightfully scared. It is a scary time. And it's sometimes dismaying that, as you described, the activist doll and what he represented 25 to 30 years ago, it's like, okay, here we are right back again. And we're talking about immigration, we're talking about racialized purging. It's funny that the activism was around HIV prevention. And again, we've got a president who cut the funding nationwide, worldwide on addressing HIV. And having just done World Pride and the Human Rights Conference and sitting in the session where, I heard firsthand how the defunding of PEPFAR has impacted the HIV pandemic. Because it's not just here, it's all over the world. That was very sobering. So it's like full circle as I'm looking at the doll right now, the activism. Like,
one of the things that I've said repeatedly is I think that I've said that being gay is a superpower, but I do recognize that I am, other than that, the spitting image of the person of power and privilege. That if you see me and you don't know I'm gay, you make a lot of assumptions about me. But I can honestly say, because I do not have any idea how I would feel about any of this if I wasn't gay. But something about going through this period where that pushed me to be an activist has made me recognize that there are a lot of people in this world who do not have the safety and security that you would think comes with being a member of a society that is supposed to be there to support everybody in that society. So I recognize that it's never been equal. It's always been this kind of distribution of power, and it's always been the same people at the top. And they are going to be the last people to recognize. That's why they're the first to take away things like DEI. They're the first to take away things like honoring Juneteenth. It was not, the White House did not honor it this year. There are, they are the first people to go, well, what's the point? And when everybody else knows what the point is, and that's, we need to be seen, we need to be at the table, we need to have a voice. And that was what activism is. That is what activism is all about, is knowing you have a voice and using it.
And before we move on, because I think that activism doll struck a chord. I won't say a nerve, but it struck a chord. So what does it mean to be talking about activism, to have this doll represent you during Pride Month? This Pride Month in particular.
I don't know. I feel like I'm blessed by the gay fairy, and having my day of my birth be right before Stonewall. I mean, the very same month, June 1969, was when Stonewall happened, and also the moon landing. But I feel like on some cellular level, I've been attached to that desire to push back, and Pride Month has always been like the visibility day of asserting power as a collective group, because I recognize I'm not where I am because of me alone. I stand on the backs of a lot of people who have done some incredible work to do some scary work of being visible when it was more dangerous. It still can be dangerous, but it was more dangerous, and that there were more repercussions for being seen as queer. And I can't stand up and do this work. We can't do this podcast. There are a lot of things that we would not have been able to do would it not have been for all those amazing queer people that came before us. Every LGBTQIA2 plus person that's ever existed lives in me somewhere. And for me, Pride Month is about honoring that legacy, and to reminds me to be the best person I can be in the world, doing the best I can on a daily basis, to do what I know to be right, and to listen to others, to course correct when necessary. But pride for me, that's what it represents, is just knowing that I have something to be proud of.
Wow. Ooh. Did not expect all of this from nesting dolls. So, speaking of which, what's the next one? I think you have two more.
That's a good question. I don't know if I lost track. All right.
If that's the one I think that is, that's the one I was waiting for. So I have to ask, as I'm looking at Leather Daddy, the first thing that came to my mind was, why the glasses? Or because not all of them have the glasses on.
No, the activists didn't. That's just because that picture didn't have it. But normally I wear my glasses because I can't see a damn thing without them.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and I happen to think I look pretty fly with glasses on. I look more me when I'm wearing them when I'm not. And then the beard was a style I was sporting for a while around the time that I won Iowa Leather, because I liked the gray growing. I know you're proud of your gray. I have succumbed to, I guess, a little bit of pressure because I'm starting a new career path. And when I was interviewing for jobs, I was afraid that if I looked closer to my age, I would have a harder time getting hired somewhere. I think they think it's flattering, but when I told people I was 56 years old, or actually I told them 57 because I forgot how old I was. When I told people this past week I was 56, somebody said, "Oh, I thought you were like 30." And I was like, no, I earned every single one of these years. I'm going to be proud of every single one of them. But the letting the gray grow out during that period was part of that, of, saying I am a leather elder,
Thank you for bringing up the gray, because it's funny, because I feel, first of all, ageism is real. Ageism is real in terms of your acting profession, I don't know about the therapy profession, but I've even experienced ageism um, in HIV prevention, in public health, where I've been told we're looking for someone younger. Never mind that I brought the skills. And someone actually told me that. And I had to tell them a few years later, even if that's the reason, don't ever say that legally and also psychologically. You don't know what you're doing to someone when you say that, and legally protect your ass. And I only told him that part because this was a colleague that I respect. But I feel like, and even people have told me, if I didn't have the gray, people would not be able to guess my age. People would not be able to tell. So I almost feel like me keeping the gray is an act of defiance at times.
It is.
It's a defiance against cultural norms. It's also a defiance against my own insecurity. It's almost kind of like do it anyway. Do it anyway.
You're a little braver than I am in that regard, but it really is just to kind of not put myself out of the running for changing careers midlife is scary to begin with, but I didn't want to do anything that was going to make it more difficult for me to start working. But yeah, eventually that will change. But right now, I'm still kind of green to this whole thing, so I'm feeling more confident as each day goes along.
And just as a preview to you and our viewers, we're going to have an upcoming show that deals exactly with that, changing careers. And well, I think for us, middle age.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that you remind me about the work that you do, because I think it's important that people of our age group, like you and Damon, that everybody, that there are people visibly our age out there doing that work, because I think you're right. I think the majority of people doing that work, they want younger people to be the face. They want younger people to be the faces of the organizations. So because they think that's the group that they're talking to, that those are the people that need the information. But people our age need that information as well. So I'm glad that there are people our age out giving it.
And which information, just for people who may be viewing this, who don't know me, don't know Damon, or even being introduced to you, which work are you talking about? And I wear a lot of hats too.
Sex positive education around sex health. It's the after if you're interested, go back a couple of months and you can look at Daddy Rod and his love of his life, Damon, talking about doxypep. And right after that, my husband and I went out and got a prescription for it. So we were, yeah. So, and that's because of the work that you guys are doing. It just spreads that word. And that's important because people our age are generally not given that information because they assume we're done, that we're not having sex, or that we're now just monogamous and sitting at home, or not having sex anymore, sitting at home, twiddling our thumbs, crocheting bunny rabbits.
Right. Which kind of also leads me into the leather doll. Because to be honest with you, I'm surprised that's one of your smaller ones, because maybe because that's how I met you in the leather community. You were new to your title. A few years back, I had finished my first title, so in the leather community. So I often think of that as being a bigger doll for you.
Yeah, well, I look at it that each level as you go interior supports the exterior. So the leather supports the activist, which supports the therapist, which supports the daddy. That it's getting closer and closer to where my heart is, but the expression of it is, because I'm not in leather all the time, and I'm one of those people who believes that you're still a leather person even when you're not wearing leather. It's about the spirit. It's about the brotherhood. It's about it's about a lot of things. But the costume is the costume. It's like RuPaul says, you're born naked. Everything else is drag. So that's my drag for events that are around leather. But I'm leather all the freaking time.
And just something you said, I cannot let you just skim over it. Your leather supports the therapist work. How so?
That we are all, I'm a narrative therapist, so I believe that our mental health is tied up in the story that we tell ourselves about ourselves. And the leather persona is one of the characters in my story. It's the one that exemplifies the lack of shame about my sex and sexuality, to kind of remove those stigmas that people might want to put on it. And that's a lot of the work I do with clients, is kind of taking back their story of, whatever they've been told is deficient in themselves, to really look at it and go, is it really deficient, or is that somebody else's opinion? Is that somebody's story that they gave you? In which case, we're going to work to reject that story and replace it with a story that works better for you. Those things that you're supposed to be ashamed of, let's see if there's a way we can be proud of them.
Wow. No words. And for me, that's rare. So.
And then he's got the little red hanky. So.
Tell the folks what that means.
A fisting bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's on the left. I mean, on the right side. So.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something I've just recently started exploring.
Right, and I know we've had private conversations about that. I thought you were versatile when it comes to fisting, both topping and bottom.
I thought I was versatile, but I haven't spent a whole lot of time topping anybody, and I'm not entirely confident in that, where I go into a party and go, I'll top somebody. I feel like I'm still kind of learning from the bottom up, so to speak. So we'll see. And that may never change. It may be that I just enjoy being the bottom. That's good enough. I think there's a lot of misogyny that's placed in bottoming roles. It's like, oh, well, when are you going to be strong enough to be a top? It's like, bitch, try to be a bottom and tell me how strong you are.
Right. Agreed. I mean, as someone who's a fisting top, yeah, definitely. I'm in awe of the guys that I fist.
I'm in awe of myself, because I never thought I would be able to do it. We started. My husband and I started trying to do fisting during my title year, right around my title year. So it's been a like 10-year journey to get to the point. And it's just been within the last year that I was successful. So because it's a big psychological leap. It is.
Maybe we need to do a fisting show, because
maybe demystify that.
Right, because even as a fisting top, it's not just about sticking your fingers and your hand or your fist inside someone. There's the whole thing around chemistry, comfort, literally feeling inside a person, letting their body speak to you, not you drive I'm convinced when it comes to fisting, it's the bottom who's driving the scene.
I still remember the first time I fisted somebody. This was going to be like 15 years ago. When I had my fist inside somebody and feeling their heartbeat, and just the profound sensation of like feeling that on a level I'd never felt it before. It was like a spiritual connection. It was just mind blowing.
It still is. It still is every time. And ironically, given my own heart issues, to feel someone else's heartbeat, it's like, whoa, I always have that moment where do I need to be here? So I feel like I'm in the presence of something bigger than myself.
And you're in a truly intimate space. I mean, that's something that's probably the least touched place for a lot of people. And to be welcomed into that space is an honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what people's opinions are of it, who cares?
Say that last part again.
No matter what anybody's opinion is of fisting, because there's a lot of negative perception around fisting. But again, it goes back to that misogyny, bottom shaming. Like, how can you allow somebody to penetrate you like that? Well, I can, because I got superpowers.
I mean, that's true of as far as I'm concerned, when anyone bottoms, that applies. I think with BDSM play in general, just the whole thing of someone showing a part of yourself that they don't show everybody, and that they're letting you into, whether it's physically into or mentally, emotionally, psychically. Yeah, that's what BDSM play is about. And I'm glad that you have the doll representing that, because it's really a powerful space and place to be in.
And there's a level of trust that you have to achieve. That's really what, for me, a lot of BDSM is about. If you don't have the trust, you don't have quality play. So that gets us to the next level. Getting smaller. Ooh, this is Guard Boner Donor. It's my sister, guard boner donor, my sister
Oh,
perpetual
yes.
persona. So you got the white face and the guard costume of and then my little cheeks.
Yes.
Which got me not arrested, it got me ticketed at a Palm Springs Pride for wearing this particular outfit because at that time you couldn't have your buttocks exposed in Palm Springs. So I got a misdemeanor from that one.
Wow. Well, wait a minute. You were in San Francisco, right?
No, Palm Springs.
Oh,
Yeah, San Francisco is a completely different story.
right. So, remind me, you've told me, but remind me, what was your guard name?
Guard boner donor.
So, how did you come up with guard boner donor?
An ex of mine came up with it because I don't even know what suggestions I may have been spitting out, but I couldn't really come up with anything that spoke to me. And when he said boner donor, at the time I was identified exclusively as a top. So it was appropriate at the time because I was a boner donor. But
Are you still a boner donor?
I can be, but now I'm getting payback. You know, all those boners I donated out, I'm getting a lot of them back. So I'm being boned instead, and I can live with that.
You make it sound like it's a bad thing.
Oh God, no. I think that the most liberating thing that could have possibly happened to me was the advent of the PrEP, because my sex life was in retrospect dictated by fear. And once I could start removing that I'm going to die component from it, I started to feel more free in my sexuality. I thought I was free before. I was like, this is another level of free. And unfortunately, a lot of gay men our age are still plagued by that fear of, because that's all we ever heard was sex is going to kill you. Sex is going to kill you.
Right.
And when you hear that enough, that's all you know. And it still may kill me, but I don't care.
I was going to say, don't put that in the universe because for me, growing older, and I know this is for you too, it's been about reclaiming that for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
there's a level of intimacy that you can achieve skin to skin. I'm not going to lie, that is not duplicable. You know, you can still enjoy sex without that, but there's something about losing, because that's part of the fear response to sex is how much protection do I need to put on before I do this thing. And I'm not saying it's not healthy to do that. I think whatever you need to do for yourself, do it. But the having to use anything is because you're afraid something is going to happen to you if you don't. So that makes fear a component of sex, which detracts from the ability to fully give into it.
I don't want to, this is a whole nother conversation that for a later date I want to pick up on, because I still want the focus to be on you. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
And is there another doll left?
Oh God. Well, I know there's at least one. No, and then there's the core. I know the core is the big thing, but this is the last persona one.
The actor.
Yes.
I keep saying there's a Tony in your future.
This is the only time you'll see me with hair, because I've worn wigs for shows. And then, you can see the comedy and the tragedy.
And tragedy, right.
Yeah.
So, Rob, you're a leather man, you're a therapist, and you're an actor. What has it been like to reclaim the actor part of you, even in the midst of, and I would say more being a therapist, because I don't know too many therapists who are also actors, and yet you are fully both. What is that like? I mean, what is that like for you?
I think that because I was acting before I was became a therapist, and I actually took a break from acting when I lived in Palm Springs for a while, and that was the last time I did acting. Then I went to Iowa and then Pennsylvania. And then when I came back to Palm Springs recently, I got back into theater and didn't realize how much I missed it. But the thing that I think that having that as like the last one inside, that supports everything else is I think I'm a better therapist for the work I did in theater, because what I try to do in theater is get in the head of the character. Why? It's not just learning the lines. It's like, why is this character saying this? What's the point of, what's he trying to get? What's the goal? And what happened before this show even started that put them in that mindset, to try to inhabit that. And when I sit with clients, I'm using that same muscle and brain part of my brain to go, okay, what's the backstory here? What's driving this behavior, and what is it they're trying to achieve, and how does that past inform their ability to achieve that goal? So it's about getting into the mind of another person, and without judgment, because any character I played, no matter how despicable somebody else might think they are, I had to like them to a degree where I could understand why they're doing that they think that they're doing the best possible thing, and that they're not deliberately trying to be a villain. So why is this person motivated to do this behavior in a non-judgmental way? And that has helped me immensely with people I work with. And I think that's why like psychodrama is really big in psychology, that whole idea of playing out the parts of yourself so you can kind of get an idea of what your motivations are, and to try different approaches to see if they work.
Wow. So you are celebrating all these parts of you, or as Lettucey put it, these pieces of you, as you're turning, I keep thinking 55, but you're 56 now.
Yeah. Oh, that leaves us the core.
There's a core?
It's the core. There's nothing else inside this. This is just one solid piece of wood, and it's the very, very middle of everything.
And I have to lean in now, and it looks like a rainbow egg.
It has the pride colors on it. That's
right.
And that's my core. I tell you, being gay, like I said, I think of as a superpower, and that thing is what makes me one of the primary things that makes me uniquely me. Because a lot of my views of the world, myself, the people around me, it comes from my whole journey to become an out gay man, and the security I had to have in myself to do that, and then how that made me question everything about myself and the world around me, and kind of adjust, course correct, and so that I could be the proud daddy I am today. And it all comes back to, for me, that one part of my identity sent me on a trajectory. Like I said, I don't know how I would respond to a lot of stuff if I wasn't gay, because being gay has given me a degree of empathy. It's given me a degree of understanding of how the world works in a different way that other people might think it does who look like me. It is my core. It's being a gay person means more to me than any other aspect of what I come into the world with. Things outside of me I value, but the inside, the thing I value the most is that I am a gay man.
Okay.
And it's wow.
Powerful. And it's very interesting. We have a saying in Black church, God can use anything. I would have never thought that nesting dolls would have given us so much insight in terms of who you are, the pieces of you that are all wrapped up into Daddy Rob. So again, I want to say happy birthday. I hope you are still celebrating.
Oh, definitely.
You are going to. I said so. So you do that.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we're at the end of another episode. Like I said, the Daddies are back. So please keep your eye on our YouTube channel, and you'll see some more episodes coming up in the next few months. And with that, again, happy birthday, Daddy Rob. I am Daddy Rod.
And I'm Daddy Rob,
the birthday boy. And
hey.
Always, let's see if we can get this right.
All right. Listen to Daddy.
Oh my God, I think we did it!
We can't. That's one of the signs of the end times.
I'm verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. So, all right. Mwah.